Okay, so we are going to go through my new program just dropped. Program. So, yeah, basically after my last show, went into a week where it was just basically Jake said, like, train what you want. So I went in, I think I did just a bit of a fuck about session on the Tuesday, did a bit of chest, and then didn't really train again for about 10 days. Basically, it was a complete mental and physical deload after 37 weeks of prepping. Like, that takes its toll. That takes a massive psychological and physical amount of stress that basically you just need to unload. So yeah, 10 days completely off the gym. By the time that I'd finished, I was fucking chomping at the bit to get back into the gym. So my program just dropped in. We're going to be focusing more on the upper body. So the feedback from the judges, I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, was you've got very good structure, which is good. I mean, genetically I probably am well built for bodybuilding. Condition was on point, which again is good because that's something that you can control. However, you need more muscle on your chest, your shoulders and your back. So me and Jake have kind of looked at things. I've agreed that yes, I definitely need more muscle in my back. So a couple of changes. I'm training out of a new gym now. So I'm training over at Code Fitness in Newark. It's about a 10-minute drive from me down the A1, but well worth the trip. I'll be going there 2 to 3 times a week because I need to really focus on my back. Like, out of those 3 areas, oh my God, what's going on with my hair? Out of those 3 areas, I'd say my back is my weakest point. Like, it's come up a lot in the last 2 years. However, like, looking at the photos, like the thickness and the width on some of the guys, even in the under 70 kilos category, was a noticeable difference. So, because back is the main area I need to focus on, my 2 back sessions will be on a 2 pull sessions. I don't know my pull sessions. So basically, my split now is I have a push day, I have a pull day, I have a leg day, I have an upper body day, which has got some more pull and some more sort of both upper and lower exercises in there. Upper and lower. So both push and pull exercises in there. And I have an arm day. So basically, upper body wise, everything gets hit twice. Except for my arms, which get hit 3 times. Which is going to be interesting in terms of ligaments and tendons and recovery. So basically, food has gone up again this week. And it's going to be interesting to see. So yeah, at least 2 of my sessions will be over at Code, which I'm guessing, yes, legs on a Thursday, the second upper body session on a Friday, as well as pull on Tuesday. I think that's how it works anyway. Can't remember off the top of my head. And then arms will be getting trained in the home gym, which is fine. Me and Jake, between us, are going to come up with, basically I'll have like a gym program and a home gym program, and I'll keep separate logbooks for each one of those. And as much of a crossover as can be done will be done. However, I'll have my normal routine, but being a parent, as many of you will know, like, sometimes shit just goes wrong. And the plans you kind of, what your normal routine is, gets thrown out the window. So having a backup plan, having a contingency plan is massively important when it comes to programming and planning out your week. So that's kind of the main thing I'd say from, if you aren't a 20-something-year-old bodybuilder whose entire life can revolve around health and fitness, like, you've got to make an initial plan, an initial structure, but you've also got to think, like, what if this goes wrong? How will I cope with XYZ going wrong? and create a solution to that. Because what happens is, if you don't, when that problem occurs, you then have to expend extra energy thinking about it when you're already in a stressed state because that problem's occurred, which is 9 times out of 10 what you'll then do is you'll just think, ah, fuck it, throw it out the window. Whereas if you've already solved that problem and you've got another routine to fall back into, you're just much more likely to do that than to give up. So hope you enjoyed that footage of my pull session. So as I mentioned before, the new program has come in now. So I've gone through all the days on the program. Me and Jake have done a few little tweaks. So for example, some of the exercises that are on those pull videos are getting swapped out. So things like the single arm machine rows are getting swapped out for single arm dumbbell rows. And instead of doing that T-bar row, just because that machine's not quite the right shape for me, because I'm short, that's going to get swapped out for the machine I was doing the single arm rows on. I'll now do that as a double row kind of like action. So one thing I think to take away from that is that not all machines are built for everyone. Like, this is where the whole argument between like machine work and free weights kind of comes in, because obviously with free weights you can move things around, get things at kind of like better angles and stuff, whereas with machines you have to understand the physics of stuff like movement arms, the mechanical loading of like muscles, the force curves and all that kind of stuff, which is like next level biomechanics, which if you're not that interested in training, then kind of going to that level isn't really necessary. If you do want to go to that level, like check out people like the Muscle Mentors or a lot of the stuff from like M10 Gym. It's all talking all about like how to set up machines, where the angles of stuff and stuff kind of like need to be. Because I'm a bit of a fitness geek, like I will look into that stuff because I'm trying to maximize how efficient my program is. Like I've got 12 to 18 months to grow now. So every single session I'm going in and I'm trying to get 100% kind of like out of that session. So a couple of things to wrap up at the end of the video. So I got my blood work done recently. I'm going to do a whole video like on that, going through the results, kind of like what it means, like why I got my blood work done. So I'm a natural lifter. You often hear like about the enhanced guys getting their blood work done, but it was one of those things. I was toying with the idea, and then there's basically been some side effects from the back end of prep that we just wanted to check out. So it was about 2.5 weeks after I kind of brought my kind of like food and stuff back up, and a lot of things are kind of within their normal ranges now. So that just means that I've now got a clear picture of kind of like where my health is. So I can now focus on, right, okay, my health is back to where it needs to be. I can now push for performance now and start looking to kind of grow some new tissue. So, as I mentioned before, during my prep, we went from, I think, a peak weight of 83 kilos in the peak of my off season to 67.5 kilos, I think was my lightest. So I dropped like 13.5 kilos. At 67.5 kilos, like I was absolutely peeled. I was probably sub 5% body fat. Like that's not a healthy place to stay. A mistake a lot of guys make when they get that lean is they then try and stay too lean for too long. Whereas actually one of the best things for me to have done is from that 67.5 of my low weight, my weight floats somewhere between 72 and 73 kilos now. So I've put on, what, 6 kilos-ish of body fat. Any muscle that's kind of come back on has been glycogen, just because like essentially things have like filled out. So I actually look better now to like the average person because things have filled out. Like there's some body fat in there. I've got some shape back and stuff like that. But I won't have put any muscle on in the last like 3 weeks. I was just not in a position to do so. So again, that's why getting the blood tests and stuff done just to check kind of like where my body is and when I'm going to be ready to kind of go into that building phase. So in this program, I think I mentioned it before, like recovery is going to be really, really important. I train 5 days a week and 4 of those are now going to be on my upper body. So looking after my ligaments and tendons and making sure I've got enough food in there, my sleep is on point, my hydration is on point. All these things are going to play a role in my body's ability to recover and therefore grow. So it's about stimulating rather than annihilating. And at some point, I'll probably put my program up. What you guys will notice is there's a mixture between like heavy work and higher rep work. So initial heavy sets of say 6 to 10, really, really focusing on driving up that maximum intensity and then backing those sets off from anything from, I think I've got rep ranges of like 12 to 15 or 12 to 20 or some of these higher rep ranges. But the main thing for me now is really, really focusing on form. So if I've got a set of 12 to 20, rep number 1 and rep number 20 should look the exact same. Just really, really locking that form in and making sure every single ounce of tension is going into the muscle that I want it to, especially on like isolation movements. So we're doing, as I said, a lot of arms work, and I've had to really, really humble myself and drop my weight right down and just really, really focus on that connection. So like standing dumbbell curls, I was curling probably the 17.5s, whereas now when we're going on to like a fixed preacher curl, the weights had to drop right back down to like 6 kilos. However, when I get to the end of the set of 15, 6 kilos, my arms are on fire and I can really, really feel that connection. So sometimes it is about reducing that load, really getting that connection and that tempo, and then progressing the load once you've kind of locked in on that technique. You see far too many guys in the gym that are just moving the weight from A to B and not really focusing on that internal tension. So external tension is caused by the amount of load that you've got. Internal tension is making sure that the muscle that you're trying to work is the one that's actually getting worked. And as I said, a lot of people, when you use momentum and throw weights around, lose a lot of that internal tension. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Me and Felipe are getting a bit more of a roll now. These should be coming out a little bit more regularly. I'm aiming for a minimum of once every 2 weeks. Just as we kind of get used to kind of like the editing, how we're going to structure these things. If you guys have any feedback on stuff you'd like to see more of, whether you just want me to kind of drop the training footage out, like stuff that you like, stuff that you don't like, comment below, and I read every single comment. I'll respond to every single comment, and any feedback that you've kind of got, I'd love to hear it. So make sure you click the like button and you subscribe, just because there's lots and lots of content coming out from across the different things within my program, and basically a lot of it's going to come on YouTube.